Hey guys, I'm actually walking the neighborhood getting my my morning kind of exercise in since I've got some time off. And I just wanted to show you something real quick. Let me see if I can't spin this around. Actually, it's not going to let me, but let me do this. Just take a look at that. I don't know if it's resonating, if it's clear to you. If you're seeing that, I'm hoping this is kind of coming through on the video. You can kind of play it back, you know, pause it, whatever you want to do. Anyway, that's very exciting. About 3, 4 some odd years ago, my wife kind of woke me up to this whole idea of kind of chemtrails, geoengineering, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. But since then, I pay attention. I look up. And I kind of pay attention to kind of what's going on. I think a lot of us are so dialed in and not looking up. We don't know what's right or wrong. And I talk to people all the time that are quote unquote awake and they're unaware of this. But I've been watching it intently for 3 or 4 years, and never do I see days go by with not a trail or something in the sky. Never. And I've been telling my wife that I'm anxiously awaiting something to happen. There's lots of narratives out there. There's lots of good narratives, bad narratives. I tell my wife all the time, the one thing I do know is I know nothing. That's my common refrain, my common point when I listen to anything. I want to believe and I'm hopeful, but I don't completely believe anything I hear unless I can see it, feel it, touch it. And chemtrails, geoengineering is a nefarious thing that I see and I can see it. And I said once I start seeing some change there, then I'll start believing maybe something's happening. And I show that to you because for about the past week and a half plus, I've been seeing crystal clear blue skies. I mean, granted, there's been clouds. There's been some storms that have kind of come through, which may or may not have been kind of manipulated. I don't want to really go there, but crystal clear skies like we're seeing right now, that's huge in my mind. So I just wanted to share that. I continue to be optimistic. I've said in the past that I'm a glasses half full guy. I'm an optimist. I'm a loving person. I'm the person that stops the car and gets out and carries a turtle across the street if I see one. I'm the guy that, I don't know, I'm just more of a peace-loving person, and I truly believe most people out there are the same way. And the deep state kind of machine that has burdened us all these decades has kept that down, and I think they kind of feed off negative energy and the propaganda and all that. So I won't go there, but I mean, we've all been talking about that ad nauseum, and we all know the war that we're fighting and what's going on. The only other thing I wanted to kind of mention is the press conference yesterday. That was brilliant. I watch them every day because even though they may talk about stuff that I'm already aware of or they don't really tell me anything new, my wife's like, why do you keep watching this? You just never know. Our president, I love him. He's very unpredictable, and frankly, that's one of his strengths. You just never know what he's going to do or say. And if you listen to his press conferences, number one, if you listen to his press conferences and listen to it without the filter of the coronavirus and listen to what he says, not listening to it with a coronavirus kind of filter, he's saying a lot of things. When he talks about the hidden enemy, when he talks about this virus and the deaths and what have you, I can overlay those talking points to the deep state war that we're undergoing right now with the pedophiles, the tunnels, the satanic worshiping and the murder and rape and all those kind of things. If you really listen to what he's saying with that filter removed, and maybe look at it or listen to it with the Q movement and all the stuff that we know we're fighting, if you listen to it from that perspective, there's a lot he's saying. Now, maybe I'm just wishing into or thinking into something that's not really there and really is talking about a coronavirus. I don't know. I listen to it trying to be unfiltered when I listen to it, and I get a lot more out of it. That on top of the fact that I love to see him just kick ass against the mainstream media. I mean, they can't stand the fact that they're being put on the defensive. They're the attackers, they're the predators, we're the prey. And we finally have a president in there that is not going to be a prey, and he's going to turn the shit back on them. And I just can't tell you how much I love it. And it was funny yesterday when he put up those snippets from the mainstream media where he's basically throwing their words right back at him. And what's funny to me is the mainstream media is calling it propaganda, and frankly, the propaganda that they're labeling is their propaganda that he's throwing right back at them. So it's just, to me, it's just brilliant. I'm more of a predictable person, not a unpredictable person, which is a weakness. I mean, my thought is, do that every day. He's going to know full well what they're going to come at him with. Set the stage like this every time and just show video snippets, because they are the media, right? Everything they say and do is recorded for infamy, and he can very easily snip together things that they've recorded, they've put over the airwaves to brainwash us, snip it together like he did yesterday, and do that every day. Now, granted, that would be predictable. They would eventually, catch on, and they would be better armed. So I think his unpredictability is a better approach. But to me, it was just brilliant. In any event, I just kind of wanted to put that out there. The blue skies more than anything else, to me, it's a canary in the coal mine, as they say. I look at the skies, and it just reinforces, it invigorates, it fuels my optimism that something is going on. And I truly believe things are happening now more than ever, because I can kind of see it. Now, I think Jacera and the financial reset, I think common sense and optimism and intuition tells me that that's coming pretty soon as well. The financial system is the corrupting engine behind everything that's going on. Anything and everything that's corrupted in our society is all driven by power and money. And if there's a way to restructure that financial system so that's not there, tantalizing and tempting good people into corruption, I think that's fantastic. And I think this whole Jacera thing is definitely being accelerated, and I expect to see that happening pretty damn soon. So I'm optimistic there as well. I'm anxiously waiting the economy, our business, our world to kind of open back up. I expect to see that real soon as well. And I guess another point I want to mention while I'm thinking about is Fauci. I know Fauci's tied to Bill Gates. He's tied to the World Health Organization. He's tied to CDC. He's nefariously tied to these people. And I'm sure he's made ever more wealthy because of his ties to them. And he's not someone to trust. That said, I'm also a firm believer in the tactics that I believe Trump well endows, which is keeping your enemies close. And there's nothing, and Fauci doesn't make decisions, not at all. Trump, our president, makes decisions. And frankly, there's nothing wrong with keeping your enemy close to you, listening to their advice, and using that counsel to make proper decisions on how we open things up, how we bring the deep state down. And even if Fauci is aware that's what's happening, keeping him closer is probably the way to go. Anyway, that's my take on it. I listened to the interview that Fauci did with CNN over the weekend, and if I just listened to his Q&A in isolation of outside of what I already know about him personality-wise, I didn't think anything he said was that bad. It's just, and again, bear in mind, I'm a hard right-winger. I'm a hard Trump supporter. I'm fully in line with everybody that's that's aggressively against Fauci. I understand. But if I just listen to that interview in isolation, I honestly didn't see anything wrong with it. I listened to it. I wanted to hear what he said. And it was very fair comments. So I guess I emotionally didn't go hard right based on what I heard from him looking to fire Fauci. I think firing Fauci, even though I don't really like him, and I could be more emotional about that statement, but I think we're better served, our president is better served keeping him close than turning him loose back into the wolves' den, if you will. Anyway, just wanted to show you my blue sky. I wanted to show you my lack of chemtrails. I'd like to see others out there do the same thing, because that is a telltale of what's going on in my personal opinion. Think optimistic. Don't think pessimistic. Be optimist. Feel love. Exude love. And our energy will overcome the evil that we're seeing. Love to all.